Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and I still can't believe this. Newcastle United are the richest club on planet Earth. Why did I do that? How are the Geordie brains supposed to process this information? Last week, the club was knee-deep in a relegation battle. They were mentally preparing themselves for another 5 years of Paul Dummett with another loss at Wolves. That game just absolutely sapped the life out of the Newcastle fans.
Steve Bruce has to go now. Not January, not February, not March, when it's too late. Now.
Look at them, they all look like they're on the verge of death. Every single supporter of this club. They look like they'd rather eat a basket of tablespoons than digest one more minute of Steve Bruce football. They look like they'd rather lick the crotch of the bear in the big blue house than keep following this utterly dreadful Mike Ashley regime. This takeover, it's not just any takeover. They've literally become the most backed club in world sport. It's too much to compute. Going from Mike Ashley, a man who probably spent more in the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru on a Friday night than in a transfer window for Newcastle United, having gone from begging for a bit of extra cash to buy a left back to this, it's unheard of. It's ridiculous, I don't understand it. This is a club who could barely afford Danny Rose's wages, and now they can buy half of China. This is like spending your childhood stuck in a Swedish orphanage, being forced to survive on just one bowl of porridge a day. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have the vitamin C levels of a chunk of Lego, but honestly, going from that hellhole of despair to suddenly winning the lottery and bypassing the fortunes of Bill Gates, you wouldn't know how to react. Whereas the previous week, you couldn't even afford a McDonald's Happy Meal. Now you're looking up Hollywood mansions on Gumtree. What? Before we look at the reaction of Newcastle fans last night, can I just ask, what is immediately going to happen this season? We live in a perverse world where the richest football owners on the planet have to sit back and helplessly watch their team scramble through a relegation scrap. It doesn't seem right. At least when Sheikh Mansour took over Manchester City, he still found time to shove Robinho and his team within 30 minutes of landing in the country. But this is fascinating. Right now, this weekend at least, Steve Bruce is still in the Newcastle dugout. That man, honestly, hide under your desk, close your curtains, chuck your phone in a bin, delete yourself from the WhatsApp group, don't even look the receptionist in the eye. That's the only way you're gonna save your job. Right now, Steve Bruce has the most transfer funds on planet Earth. That's a lot of power in the wrong hands. It's like giving Mark Zuckerberg's credit card to your Auntie Wilma who works in the fruit and veg aisle at Aldi. I almost want to see Steve Bruce have a crack at the January transfer window. I am fascinated to know what he would deem acceptable. 2 years ago, he was accepting a championship relegation battle job offer from Sheffield Wednesday, having just had an Aston Villa fan lob a cabbage off his cheeks. Having him in charge of Saudi Arabia's money. What? By that, trying to hit 550,000 subscribers as soon as possible. If you're new here and you want to see more content like this, then smack that big fat red button squarely in the nose, you absolute legends. But this is a bit like when the Abu Dhabi crowd arrived to a City team who just appointed a man about as charismatic as wet apple pie. Surprisingly, Mark Hughes lasted 18 months in the job. Bruce will be lucky to be given another 18 hours. Apparently Antonio Conte doesn't want the job, so Steven Gerrard is the front runner. Great, exactly what the club needs. Another coach called Steve. Is it not enough they've already got 6 of them? Don't get me wrong, an invincible season in Scotland is great, but let's not forget they were dumped out of the Champions League third qualifying round by Malmo of Sweden, and they were only able to score just 1 goal across 2 Europa League qualifying rounds against something from Armenia. Oh yeah, and they now have 0 points stuffed at the foot of the Europa League. I don't care, it's just because his name is Steven Gerrard. If this was Alex McLeish winning the Scottish Premier League, an uninspiring middle-aged man with a face like a donkey's arse crack, would you be clamouring to give him unlimited funds at Newcastle? This project needs an experienced tactician, not a fella barely out of his 30s. I'm sorry, do Newcastle fans really want to inherit the slip chants from away fans on a weekly basis? Mocking your manager for something he did 8 years ago? Amanda Staley is a Liverpool fan. That's why last year she wanted to bring back Rafa Benitez and now wants to bring back another former Liverpool legend. Great, so who's plan C? A return for Kenny Dalglish?
Newcastle owners want Philippe Coutinho as first transfer after already holding talks.
It would be fitting. 4 years ago, Amanda Staley made her first ever appearance at the stadium in a match where Philippe Coutinho smacked home a wonder goal for the travelling Liverpool. Imagine telling any depressed Geordies inside that ground, watching Hoslu tumble about like a walking tub of Pringles, imagine telling them then that actually yes, Staley would push through a takeover, and the first signing would be Coutinho, a guy who back then was seen as Liverpool's best player. I mean, to be fair, it is now 4 years later, and his career is lying stuffed in a sewer pipe. I mean, when he left for Barcelona in 2018, imagine telling him that his next career move would be to Newcastle. Oh, he'd probably rip off his own jaw. But yeah, back then, October 2017, everyone was excited. All she had to do was sit in the ground, and she had fans begging her to come back with just a whiff of desperation.
If Amanda Staveley was to come in with her group, we can dream. It's got potential. Amanda Staveley, if you're watching, buy this club. Why not? Why can't Newcastle be a top 6, top 7 side season after season? Amanda, buy the club.
And she did. 4 years later. It's actually happened. The Sports Direct logos, they're going. They're actually going to be scraped off the stadium. The Geordies, they wanted to go now.
Honestly, if we get to that Spurs game and that Sports Direct stuff's off the stadium, I'm already happy.
Sure, do it themselves. If it was up to them, oh, they would storm the ground with pitchforks and scrape it off until their fingers bleed. I mean, what? Do you think those fans were happy with those ugly sponsors littering their beautiful ground? What, is that supposed to be a joke? No, this is like spending 14 years having a tattoo of Ozzy Osbourne on your face. You know, the guy who chews the heads off bats. I'm pretty sure by the time that 14-year prison sentence is up, oh, you'd very quickly be trying to burn it with fire. Before we look at the Newcastle reaction from yesterday, first, here's a question. Go back 5 years ago. What were you doing with your lives? I mean, I think I know the answer. If you're from Norwich or Blackpool, you were most likely sweating over the results of a pregnancy test from your sister. But me, I was living in Sunderland. A depressed swamp. How do you describe it? It's a bit like the set of I Am Legend crossed with a bug's life. And on this channel, there were no football origins. There were no weekly roundups. No, it was just me trying to talk to Sunderland fans. Newcastle had just been relegated. They stayed up under Sam Allardyce. Just play the damn clip.
Newcastle are doing well in the Championship.
Don't swear at me.
I don't mean to wind you up, but they're doing well.
Don't even talk about them.
Yeah, because they're in the Championship. They're not in the Premiership. We are.
One place behind us, aren't they?
You're worried?
Not worried at all. I think they're in a different league. I think if we were playing Rotherham, Burton Albion week in, week out, I think we'd be top of the league as well.
I mean, to be fair, over time, the man has been proven right. Sort of. It's taken him half a decade to get there. Fast forward 5 years, what do you think Sunderland fans are thinking of all this? This is the moment the news break. Honestly, this is like a title parade. Shirts off, beer in the air. This is Newcastle's very own version of that Aguero moment without even needing to kick a ball. This is just absolutely mental.
We are the Geordies, Geordie boys. Oh, we are mental. Oh, we are mad.
Look at this, the flares, the flags. You'd swear this was a bunch of people preparing to go to war. It's like a scene out of Braveheart. Am I the only one who wants to see footage from this guy's phone? Literally screaming down his own lens like he's just inhaled 7 cans of Red Bull through his nose. This is great. Newcastle United paired with Mike Ashley. It really was like Beauty and the Beast. I mean, the sweaty beast who hasn't seen his toes in the shower since 2006.
It's done. The funds have been transferred over now. Thoughts on it? What's going through your head right now?
Cabbages!
For years, I've heard people describe Newcastle as a small club.
Oh, Newcastle never wins anything. It's just got a stadium on a hill, that's it.
No, I'm sorry. Look, this is a reaction to a boardroom decision. Do you want to tell me that's not a big club now? This has been a sleeping giant for decades. This is essentially like poking a dormant dragon in the eye. Honestly, we're about to see this club burn down the rest of English football. And lads, this wasn't just a 10-minute thing. This lasted for over 6 hours.
We are the Geordies, the Geordie boot boys. Oh, we are mental. Oh, we are mad.
I was half expecting Fogden to jump on a train with his GoPro. Look at this, it's absolutely mental. I mean, for the Tesco across the road, this was even better than a match day. What about 10,000 people loitering outside for 5 hours? I mean, I'm pretty sure if you go into that Tesco today, they'll probably only have about 3 sausage rolls of Twix and 5 rolls of toilet paper left. Lads, is this real? Is Mike actually gone? I'm half thinking he's just hiding under one of the seats in the boardroom, tucking into a steak and kidney pie. I'm expecting all this to just be a joke. How's this woman actually saved Newcastle? This is mental. Absolutely mental. Newcastle fans, they actually have the club back. Mental. Anyway, that's it. Let me know in the comments section below what do you think about this takeover. Let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.